Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight I would like to offer the love and romance relationship reading for mid-April for the elemental energies. And I read intuitively, so the messages that come through may or may not be exactly what the card's traditional meanings are, but they're the meanings and energy that Source Spirit wants you to receive. And I work through each of the four elements, and for each element, we look at the singles first and the couples second. We look at the chakra that is most active for each of those areas. So for it'll be fire singles, what their chakra energy is, and then we'll pull a couple cards from the tarot to kind of get a better feel as to where things are going for the element for this upcoming month or so. If you're interested as to know why I read for the elements and not the zodiac, there's a video in the description down below. You can check that out. Simple answer is I've been working with the elements for 20 years. The zodiac and astrology is not my strong point just yet, but I'm working on it. So we'll get started here. And where'd it go? There it is. With our fire singles. So this particular chakra deck, and if you're interested in the decks that I'm using, they are linked in the description below. This particular chakra deck is one that a friend of mine gifted to me a while back, and I do have to say that I really do enjoy these cards. They're very detailed. Can't always see it through the camera, but they are a detailed card. And we look at the card, I give the intuitive stuff, and then we check in the book, because the book is gigantic. It's an oracle deck, but it's a huge book. So for fire singles, we have number 24, balance. So before I look in the book, what's really coming forward right here for fire singles, this is a time to look at the things that are not where they should be as far as your balance. Make sure you're in balance. Your work and play, especially if you are starting to be ready to open up for a relationship, making sure you have that work-life balance in place before you start into that is going to be beneficial. Relationships can be a little bit tumultuous, but for fire singles, this is exceptionally important because you have this drive, this creative urge, this inner fire to push forward, and so having that more careful balance to start with allows for nothing to be interfered with, and you actually will have the time and the attention to spend if you're trying to look for a relationship. But they're also saying if you're content and happy to stay single or to be single, this is really saying do the self-care as you're single. Still work with that work-life balance, because if you spend too much time at work, you're not going to have time for yourself or any of the other fun things that you can do. So we'll take a peek at the book here for this one. It is the heart chakra, again working with that balancing energy. The deity that's on this card is Hanuman, who has a human body, a monkey's face, a central figure to India's two great epics, the Ramayana, one of the epics. Immeasurable strength and will, he helped reunite the divine lovers Ram and Sita after she had been stolen away. Hanuman sits on a large rock on the seashore while waves break behind him. Revered as a symbol of selfless service, he represents loyalty, undying devotion, transcending concerns about one's own selves and needs. In the words of Western guru Ram Dass, his central attitude is, how can I help? When you work with balance, the important thing is work life especially, is to be able to be of service when necessary. That's that being helpful part. But if you're not taking care of your own needs and you're dedicating all your time to work, you can't really be of service because you work too much. The key words: finding inspiration, inward and outward balance, wisdom beyond logic, Importance of paying attention to priorities, truth of what you are feeling. So fire singles, really a good time and a good reminder. Take care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. And finding that balance, which is so important in today's world. So let's see what the tarot has to say. Any fill-in messages, extra thoughts, sometimes some guidance, who knows. The tarot is fun because it always gives you exactly what you need, even if you don't realize the purpose in the moment. The Ten of Summer is an emotionally fulfilling life with family or friends, raising children wisely, people you can trust. This is saying that your inner circle, the people that are the closest to you, those intimate alignments, whether they are amorous or just friends, this is really about tapping into those that which is closest to you. And as a single, this is saying if you dedicate all your time to work and you don't take the time for personal, you fall out of balance, things become a little hectic, and your life is not as peaceful as it should be. The Ten of Summer is the end of the summer set in the Fairy Tarot, and it's really saying make sure that when you get to the point where your work is situated, that you're taking the time to care for your personal life as well. Your second card is the Queen of Autumn, generous, stylish, gracious, and practical. Be practical with respect to how you proceed, the ability to make anything beautiful, meeting someone who can help your dreams come true. And this is why you want to make sure that you're taking care of that inner circle. When you do, the alignments, the connections, and sometimes it's just a spontaneous conversation that occurs where there's not really a focus, you're just kind of hanging out and visiting, but all of a sudden something will be said and it triggers that inspiration. And sometimes that person has an idea, they're trying to offer help to you, but that's how you end up having, to me, some of the greatest inspiring moments is just these random thoughts that pop out. So working with that inner circle, the Ten of Summer with the Queen of Autumn, you're definitely getting into that mindset and energy of things are moving forward, the relationship world is available to you. The important part for fire is to do the inner work and find that balance for fire singles if you're looking for it. If not, just be aware that there are some very good things coming in energetically for you, and that is a way to step forward into a deeper, closer friendship relationship with your inner circle as well. So our fire couples, and this can be you are the fire energy or your partner is the fire energy, and I'm supposed to do this at the beginning, a little scattered. Fire energy covers Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So for fire couples, we have number 43, peace. And the images that are coming forward right now, this is about you finding your inner peace in the situation that you're in, the relationship, whether that's a close friendship, an intimate relationship, a marriage, or however that may manifest for you. But this is really about making sure that you guys are in peace. It's also, they're saying that this is a foreshadowing of peaceful times ahead, whether that is a couple of weeks or if it's the next month cycle completely. But it's really about you being in the state to welcome the peace. You're accepting the peace that is being offered. But things are coming into a quiet and comfortable state. We are working in the crown chakra, so this is very spiritual, high energy here. And we have the planetary association with this card is the moon. Chandra, the Hindu god of the moon, who has a halo of the crescent moon riding a reindeer, symbol of unconditional love. It is decorated with bells to ring in blissful sounds of peace and liberation. Linking to higher consciousness, he wears pearl anklets, illustrating the moon's link to the gemstone, which is a pearl. And it's a sign of the depth of the sea, which is the soul of wisdom. So when you look at this, this is a little bit different because a lot of ancient lunar traditions saw the moon as feminine, but this is one of the few that you'll see where the moon is actually seen with the divine masculine energy. Keywords are nurturing, peace, contentment, inner reflection, diving into memories, creative imagination, acting with sensitivity to others' emotions. So this is saying when you start to find yourself in a peaceful state, you become more aware of what the other person's emotions, feelings, and thoughts are. This is really saying that the fire couple energy for this month, this cycle, is really about that peace, that connection, that diving into your past to bring forth the best aspects of it and project it into the future. This is really saying right now where you're at, the balance of the energies, divine feminine, divine masculine, water, and fire. This is the union of opposites, and that brings great change, great creativity, but also for fire couples right now, this is bringing in great peace as well. So your message from the tarot is number 7, the Chariot. These are the major arcana, is major life lessons. These are big things. Usually what I found when the major arcana shows up, this is about the immediate future and the immediate energy, but it's also a projection of the bigger energy, like a shift in alignment. So we have the Chariot, success that comes from dedication and self-discipline, celebrating your accomplishments, being in the spotlight. With that peaceful energy, finding that new balance, working with that aspect of the divine. My mouse is being weird. This is the Chariot. You're speeding forward because everything's lined up. You've cleared the path, and this is the success that comes from the work that's already been done. This is, we've went through the time, we've had our issues, we've dealt with whatever drama may have been there, and those are now quiet. It's now time to move into that part where you're with the other person out of joy. You're with that other person out of pleasure. It's about the experience with them. It's that whole concept of to become one. It's not like you're still individuals, but you would rather do things with the other person because you find peace and comfort with them. Your second card is the 8 of Spring, success that comes from having many things happening at once, successful multitasking, sudden events or changes. So these two cards to me are saying there's a lot of movement that has been going on. You're able to successfully juggle having a work life, a personal life. They're even saying with the kids, you still are able to find the partnership time where even if you have to drop the kids off at grandma's house every couple of weeks, you're putting the time and effort into the relationship, and that is helping support that peace. And it is these specific kinds of patterns that are helping the fire couples deepen their relationship, and they are more content and comfortable. They're becoming spiritually more of one mind in that in the relationship. So it's not a matter of two people at odds, it's two people at peace. So let's hop over to the next set of energies in the zodiac, which is Earth, and that is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And we'll look at Earth singles. That card jumped out of the deck, so we're starting with that one. It is Earth singles, detachment. Detachment has some interesting energy associated with it. We're talking about being able to separate yourself from a situation. We're also showing that the physical and the spiritual worlds work with each other, but they don't have to be highly influential. The other thing that I'm getting right off the bat here is with Earth specifically, detachment from the things you're bonded to. So you can look at the situation from an observer standpoint up here. You're not in the mix, you're not in the mud. You're kind of standing on the cliff above watching going, so if that person would just step over there, or if I adjust this here, it would actually unravel the problem and clean things up. But so detachment is not so much about, I don't care about it, I'm not even acknowledged, I'm not wrapped up in it. What I'm getting is detachment is being able to separate yourself emotionally from it so you can view it from a higher standpoint. And a lot of times when you do that, you'll find yourself connecting into your higher self, to your higher awareness, and that allows you to see things significantly clearer so you're not as emotionally wrapped up in it. And when you step away emotionally, can look at things from that perspective, it becomes pretty easy to see the next steps to solve the problem. And with relationship or being single Earth, this is really about being able to step apart and be like, yeah, other people might be oh, you have to get in a relationship, you have to be with somebody, you have to. When you're detached, you don't have to nothing. You can if you want, but it's not something that someone's going to force you into doing. So let's take a peek here. We're in the 6th chakra, so this is your third eye chakra. This is the Ajna chakra. And we have Shiva, very powerful deity right here. Shiva, in his incarnation as Rudra Shiva, is linked with destruction and death, out of which new forms can be born in the cycle of creation, preservation, and destruction. Here we see the young Shiva. So Shiva's a triple deity, by the way. Lord of the yogis, sitting in meditation in the middle of the river high in the mountains. He expresses ultimate detachment from the cascading waterfall of sensory attachment emotions, and demonstrates our capacity to learn to detach and let go of our desires, hopes, fears of all kinds. So this is really saying, just because you have to be there doesn't mean you have to be emotionally tied to it. And when you can separate that, again, it allows you to see things from that clear, higher perspective. Keywords are non-attachment, accepting life as it is, not being attached to the outcome of actions, performing austerities, enjoying situations without expectations. That's that part of other people coming in saying you have to do. When you're in a state of healthy detachment, and I'm going to make that very clear because there's unhealthy detachment, which is an escape mechanism, but healthy detachment says, I understand your concern, I understand where you're coming from with that, but in this particular moment in time, that does not apply to me. That is not my goal, that is not my direction, and that's the important part of what is being said with that card. Is just because other people are saying this is what you should do, they're not walking in your shoes, single earth energies, so don't worry about them. Your first tarot card is number 3, the Empress. This is major arcana, so these are big energies. Take time time to take action, the power of creativity, success that allows for the life of luxury. This is that part where if you've been detached for a while, where you're just kind of doing your thing, you're working and building, it's because the Empress energy, this divine feminine that's working with the divine masculine of the third eye and Shiva, you're working these two energies together to create something. That's why you're not going to be distracted by other people's thoughts and opinions. And this is really saying you're stepping into your own. You have goals that you're aiming for, and the Empress is coming in to say the success, the things that you're wanting, the things that you're setting a foundation for are available at this time. It's the opportunities to take those next steps is what is coming in. The second card, again, is Major Arcana. So, Earth Singles, pay attention. You have some big stuff coming in. We have the Wheel. Delays are over. Sudden or unexpected good luck and new travel or vehicle. So, with this energy tied with the Empress and working with the energy of detachment, things are actually in the right path right now. You're not connected to an outcome, therefore you don't have an energy that's slowing it down. Emotions are great. Everyone needs them, don't shut them down. But there's times when you need to separate yourself from the emotions, and when you work with divine masculine energy, it allows you to separate your emotions from your everyday. It allows you to separate from the attachment to outcome. The divine feminine is a lot more emotion driven, and that's not a bad thing, that's just what it is. So the Empress is saying you do have that need for the divine feminine to be attached, that more emotional state to be aware of, but you have the divine masculine coming in saying be aware of them, use them when needed, but also be able to separate yourself from the outcome so that you're living more in this now moment, which is going to be way more fruitful for you anyway. So our Earth couples, we have the number 3 card. It is creation, without even looking, we're working in the root chakra here. But for Earth couples, they're showing me this is a period of intense creation between you and your partner. This could be a new house, this could be a new child. We're working with foundational energies here And with that foundational energy, it's that stability. You're working with anchoring things into this now moment. You're getting ready to step into this next state because you have a firm and strong foundation. So, let's see what the little book here has to say. We have Brahma is the deity on the card, and the four heads reflect Brahma's position as Lord of Creation. They represent the physical self, the rational self, the emotional self, and the intuitive self. So all those different parts that you need to function in life. In each of his four hands, Brahma carries a blessing. His hand, Mudra, which is the meditation poses that we see, removes fears of insecurities. From his pot, sacred water pours forth. The lotus emits the scent of purity, and the scrolls recount divine wisdom. These are your foundational beliefs, and when you start to really get into spirituality, those four aspects of self, the physical, rational, emotional, and intuitive, and when we say rational, you can also call it the mental state, these are all things that you bring into a balance. You have to have all of them. It's a lot of people try to cut one of those out, and that's why they end up unbalanced, but those are your foundation. When you work with them, things do much better. Earth couples, birthing possibilities, innovative, original thinking, pioneering spirit, novel opportunities, taking the first step towards something new. You've laid a foundation, Earth couples. This is the time to build upon that foundation. It's interesting because foundation, the words kept coming up for Earth singles as well. So Earth, you're really in your element right now, and that's where that foundational energy is coming up. And when you're working with creation, you already have things in place. You know where you and your partner are. You know what your you know what your opportunities are. You know what your next steps are. You have aligned yourself into the state where you know that if you have set the plans in motion for the next aspect of your life to come forward and step in. And this card is the affirmation saying, yes, you have set those things in motion, working with that root chakra energy, staying connected to Gaia, working with the grounding energy so that you can actually put the structure up on the foundation that you've already laid. So your tarot is the Eight of Spring, stress that comes from having many things happening at once, successful multitasking, sudden events or changes. You have the foundation. Everything is set up for you, Earth couples. Now it's a matter of, are you ready for the next step? That's the stress that comes from having too many things going. But it's also success. You have the ability as a couple in a relationship to handle all of the stuff that you have set up. Now it's that stepping forward in courage. Are you willing to do the things that are going to be built on the foundation? That doesn't mean it's easy, and your second tarot card actually says that. We have the Magician. And it's interesting, the follow-up. You can do anything, take charge of your life, manifest what you need to be a success. The Magician has tools. Earth, air, fire, water, they have all of the tools at their disposal. They have the ability and the base knowledge to move forward. Their journey is actually going to be a little bit better now that they have achieved certain goals. This is the energy that's coming forward. You have the foundation laid. You have a lot of things that are going on. You have a successful ability to deal with all of this stuff. And with the Magician card, these are big energies that are saying, you have all the tools at your disposal. Are you ready to take those next steps, Earth couples? Because the stars, so to speak, are aligned for you, and you've done the work. You've done the prep work. You've done the setup. It's all there. It's just a matter of saying, yes, I am ready for the next steps. Yes, I am ready to move forward. There are unknowns, but I'm also have set in place things to keep those unknowns at a less stressful level. So we'll move over here to our air family. And air covers Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So we'll start with our air singles. And air singles, we have number 10, preservation. they're saying that this is about preserving your peace, your personal time. It's interesting because they keep bringing up this concept of work-home relationship through all of these so far. In this one, make sure that you're taking the time to preserve your health, to preserve your mental state, and the things that the air energy is not comfortable with, but preserve your healthy emotions. This is not a time for allowing other energies to come bouncing in to stir things up. This is a time for air to be in their air singles in particular, to be in their best mental state. So don't forget that you have to do your self-care, not just worry about other people's energies in this aspect. We're working with the second chakra. It is your passion chakra. This is the navel chakra. Sacral chakra, sorry. It is Vishnu is our deity here. Vishnu is the pervader or preserver, the hero of life-giving force of the second chakra. He is the ruler of compassion and the preservation of life within the world. He sits balanced between creation and destruction of all life-giving forces. His consort is Lakshmi, the goddess of good fortune. And our keywords are pleasure, sensuality, harmony, loyalty, desire for family, sharing emotions, seeking enjoyment of friends, indulgences, and fantasy, healthy fantasies. So what's coming up here is what he's trying to bring forward for you is this is a time for you to enjoy the personal time. Everything that came forward in the books reading was about building relationships, building friendships, building connections. Notice the lack of emphasis on the work situation. This is about you in a social situation. This is about you making those connections, and the wording there also shows that this is a good time for you to reach out for something that could turn into a long-term relationship. If you're looking air singles, this is also a good time to test the waters, so to speak. Your first tarot card is the 0 card in the Major Arcana. This is the Dreamer. Embrace your true power, begin a new adventure, trust yourself. Everything is set up in a healthy state for air right now, and it's also saying the door is open, the invitation is there, the energies are aligned. If you are choosing to take the next step and actually pursue a relationship, and to start something, right now is a good time. Spring is in the air, so to speak, but the Dreamer is saying you may not know the outcome, but this is a good time to look at your options. The Princess of Spring is the optimistic, enthusiastic, creative, and energetic energy of the spring cards. It is time to go after your dreams, do something that expands your horizons, let your creativity flow. It doesn't have to be a relationship, it could be some kind of an artistic pursuit, but the energy that I'm getting right now is this is a great time for air to just step out. You have a silver tongue, so to speak. You're charming. This is a time for you to kind of be the belle of the ball. You're the one right now that the stars are saying, you know what, you got this. If you're willing and you're ready to look for a relationship, or you're interested in starting one, this is a great time for air singles to be out looking, because you kind of have the charisma, you have the charm to say, to do, to flirt, and just be fun. And if you're just looking to, hang out with your friends, do that. It doesn't have to be an active pursuit, but putting yourself out there in general is what is going to be the best option. Be open to the experience is the other thing I'm hearing. So, air couples, we are in number 29, expansion. This could be a hard card to see. Oh, nope, actually it's not too bad. For air couples, what I'm hearing is this is a time for growth. This is a time for stretching where you're at, stretching the boundaries of your relationship, not in the fact of trying to break it, but like, okay, so we've been comfortable here, let's take it to another next level. It's a little bit of that kind of pushing. It's not it's not outside of that. It's definitely what I'm getting is taking it to another level, taking it to a deeper level, a more intimate connection. Sorry. Let's see here. We have number 29 in our little book. Where are we at? There it is. We are in the 5th chakra, so this is also talking about communication. So there could be some deepening through communication, like opening yourself up and being a little bit more vulnerable with the other person. The planetary link is Jupiter. The planet Jupiter is associated in Hindu mythology with the god, oh good grief, Brahaspati, bringing good fortune, prosperity, and what does that say? Right livelihood. He rides the elephant that is linked with purity, dominance, and ascendancy. In one of his 4 hands, he holds a sacred scroll, in another, a whirling disc with the power to cut through blocks of the lower chakras. His 3rd hand is open to bestow blessings, and his 4th holds the conch shell used in religious ceremonies as a side of the god Vishnu, the Preserver. And we have keywords here: communication, talking, speaking, listening. Oh, the important part of communication: hearing on a deeper level, high thinking, clarifying what you are saying and thinking to others. So air, this is really your forte, especially air couples. Your energy is communication. Your energy is working in the throat chakra and up, because you are about the deeper, broader ideas and thoughts. So the expansion here is that deepening of the relationship through open communication. You speak, your partner speaks. You listen and you exchange thoughts, you exchange ideas. You take them to a higher level and frequency, and that allows for the deepening of the relationship, or the expansion of the relationship. But you're working with the throat chakra energy, so communication is going to be key. My guides want me to make sure to let you know that communication is not always verbal. Sometimes it's the non-verbal stuff, such as surprising your partner with flowers, doing that special thing that they've been needing to get done and just haven't gotten around to it, or have asked you and they haven't said anything about it recently. These are ways to express those emotions and deepen that connection as well. So a lot of big energy is coming in with this reading, because we have another major arcana, and it is number 5, unity. Do the right thing for the right reasons. Compare traditional versus new approaches to see what works best for you, a spiritually minded community. This is really about you working with the energy of your partner. The two of you in this couple's relationship have become more of one mind, and this is a way to deepen, grow, and expand. It doesn't have to be the most traditional viewpoints. Tradition would be husband goes to work, wife stays home with 2.5 kids and 3.5 dogs, white picket fence, all of that jazz. It could be that the dad stays home with the kids and the apartment where the mom goes to the Fortune 500. It could be two husbands who are taking care of a household and raising children. It could be 2 women in a household, 2 wives, sorry, in a household, the non-traditional sense, taking care of the kids and the pets and etc. It's the unity of the couple that's important for air in this time. This is not about outside influences. They're being clear that this is about the unity of the couple, and that may not always be the most traditional way of looking at things. And tell you a little secret, if you look back through history, traditional is one of those things like normal. It doesn't always apply. We have the Queen of Summer, loving, comforting, emotional, and intuitive, listening to your heart, intuitive insights you can trust, taking care of others. Perhaps too much. There's a little bit of a call out on the Queen of Summer. You're working with your partner, but don't forget that your partner does best when you are taken care of as well. So that's that give and take. That's that communication. If the doing is almost exclusively one-sided, whether it's you or your partner doing 90% of the work or 90% of the giving and trying to solve the problems, that's not going to work. The Queen of Summer's energy is really about finding yourself in a balanced state. You want to be working with your partner in unity, moving forward, not one of you doing all the work and the other one frustrated that things are happening like they are. Stay open to communication, deepen the communication, and it doesn't always have to be, and big emphasis, it doesn't always have to be with words. So let's hop on over to our water family and wrap this video up with water singles and couples. So we'll start with singles. We are in water singles reality number 47. Water, you want to escape. You're very attached to emotions and going with the flow, but you also have this escapist mentality. This particular card says reality. Yeah, there's a lot of things. Fantasy world is great. The fantasy novels, the watching fantasy movies, those are all fun. But don't forget you live here. You live in this physical world. You live in a point where staying at least aware of reality is important, especially for water singles. Water doesn't like to be completely detached from their emotions, and so for water singles, this is saying the fantasy novels, the romance novels, the things like that are great, but don't forget you can actually have that in this world if you choose, but it's a matter of coming back into the now moment, not just hanging out in the fantasy world. So we have the 7th chakra. This is your crown chakra. There we go. And it is, the deity is Saraswati, is a goddess of wisdom dressed in the color of purity, playing celestial music on the veena while riding a swan, linked with loyalty and liberation. She is the monarch of music, creative arts, writing, true knowledge symbolized by the scroll she carries. Students are known to pray to her to help master their studies and sharpen their intellect. This is a great card just to help you reconnect with life in general, and it allows you to take the knowledge that you have learned and put it into an experience form, which grants wisdom. So, knowledge, wisdom, having good memory, these are your key words. Knowing truth, mastering self, balancing positive and negative in oneness, and arriving at the destination. For water singles, this is just saying it's time to step out of the bubble. It's time to take all of the great thoughts, ideas, emotional sensations that you're craving and bring them back into the physical. That could mean you're looking for a relationship. It also could mean that just being more connected into the now moment. You're working with reality. You're taking divine, spiritual, energetic concepts through the crown and you're bringing them into a physical state. But it's expanding of your knowledge, it's expanding of your awareness as well. If you haven't started a meditation practice, water singles, they're also saying that this is a good time for that. It could be moving meditation, tai chi, qigong, yoga, things like that. Or it could be more stable, sitting down, counting breaths, focusing on a mantra. But this is the time for that to really be a focus because you're bringing spirituality into the world. They're saying this is a period of time where you're anchoring light into the world as well. So this is a light worker energy with water singles. The Queen of Summer is your first card. Loving, comforting, emotional, and intuitive, listening to your heart, intuitive insights you can trust, taking care of others, perhaps too much. You're working in this world, but that does not mean you have to give up your personal life, your personal freedom. Water singles, they're saying that this is being out and going and connecting with people is great, but don't overdo it because your emotional battery can get a little bit drained when you give too much. So making sure to take care, finding that balance of the positive and the negative, bringing everything into a connected state. Your second card, and this card has already come up as well, which is the Princess of Spring, optimistic, enthusiastic, creative, and energetic. It's time to go after your dreams. Do something that expands your horizons. Let your creativity take hold. It could be a social thing where you're going to the... in one town I've lived in, they have what's called Wednesday Wine and Painting. There is art classes like that. The reality card also emphasizes this artistic concept. So water singles, tapping into your emotions, bringing these fantasies, these ideas into the physical, could be through physical medium, through writing, through painting, through sculpting, carving, clay, things like that. But it's really about getting yourself into the physical world more and not being so escape set. And that's not a bad thing, but there's times and places for it. So let's take a peek at our water couples. And where are the water? There we are. Water couples. Water couples are in the energy of sensitivity number 14. The message that I'm getting before I've looked at the book for water couples is being more gentle with yourself, being more gentle with the other person, tapping into your senses. Sensitivity can mean being sensitive to the other person, but it's also being physically sensitive, being aware of your senses. It's not as emotionally connected is what I'm hearing as sensuality, which is really getting into your physical. But sensitivity is being more aware of the subtle aspects of your senses, and that also applies to working with other people. Water couples, this could apply to being more sensitive to the other person in the relationship. It could be just that, what was it that they said? What was it they were doing? How can I be of service to help their spiritual needs? By doing so, we both gain blessings. So let's take a peek here. Okay, the very first word had me confused. There is a crocodile right there. I'm not sure if you can see that very well because it's blue on blue. The aquatic beast of the water, known as Makara, is linked with sexual vitality and the volatile, slippery nature of sensuality. He carries on his back the sound Vang, which is this guy here. When gently hummed, it increases the circulation of bodily fluids and tempts the kundalini to rise. So Vang, V-A-N-G, said, and you don't say it here. When you speak the tones, you take them from your voice and you drop them into your abdomen. So you take a big, deep inhale, and when you say it, you're trying to lower and vibrate that sound into your chest cavity, your heart chakra energy. So something like Vang would be Vang. You're bringing it down into your body. That vibrates out. And when they tone, like when you listen to Gregorian chants, the Hindu chants in the temples, they're not saying it from here. They are saying it from their chest, from their body. They are embodying the sound through vibration. So, something to think about. Our keywords here are focusing on sentiments, sensuality, learning from others, balancing the nectar of love and difficult relations, overreaction to emotions. We're still working with that balance, and we are working in the sacral chakra, so it's your second chakra, which in most traditions means it's just about 2 finger widths below your belly button, and that's the chakra area. So you're working water couples with sensitivity, sensuality. You're tapping into the connection to your partner, and they're saying it's very much about the spiritual connection. There's a little bit of the fun part, the sensuality, the amorous stuff, but it's also about the intimate part, that emotional part where you're connecting at a deeper level. The physical is kind of like, it will actually get more intense when the emotional is in balance. So your first tarot card is another major arcana, the Sun. Plans that work out perfectly, amazing ideas that lead to rewards and accommodations, gratitudes for the blessing of life. The sun is shining on the relationship right now for water couples. It's also saying show your gratitude for the other person. When you share gratitude, it expands outwardly. It's not just I appreciate you, they appreciate back. And as you're doing that, try the experiment of sitting in front of the other person. You're staring into their eyes, and you say from your heart something that you're grateful for. Allow them to hear it, allow them to say thank you, and then allow them to say something they are grateful for back. You feel that energy come in, you say thank you for that, and then you repeat. As you do that, your emotions are going to get a little interesting. from someone who is single, I have done that with friends on occasion in spiritual classes and growth exercises. When you're doing that gratitude exercise about, I am so grateful for whatever aspect it is, it could be a physical thing, could be an emotional thing, it could be skill or talent that they have. And as you're doing that, you're deepening that relationship, and that takes the relationship to an entirely different level. So, something to try out and see how it works for you. Your second tarot card is the number 3 Empress. Take time to take action, the power of creativity, success that allows for a life of luxury. When you are connecting in to your physical, you're tapping into that sensual, that sensitivity, you're becoming more aware of your emotions. It allows growth in ways that you may not have expected. And when you're doing this kind of thing, it allows for some play, some creativity amongst the people in the relationship. So you can start to surprise them with little gifts. You can surprise them by them coming home to dinner already being in the oven or on the stove. It's the little stuff like that that can really start to deepen the relationship. Or a spontaneous thing where they come home and it's get changed, to get a shower, whatever you need to do. We are out of here in 30 minutes. We've got reservations. Something spontaneous like that, so that it's a growth experience is what I keep hearing. So for water couples, that's where you're at, is get a little deeper in your connection, really tap into the sensuality and the gratitude aspect of the relationship, and see how things go for you. With that, we will wrap up this particular video. If you're new here, drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new, sorry. And if you have any comments, thoughts, suggestions, or ideas, drop those down below as well. And with that, I will let you guys go. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video.